Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening, classmates. I am reporting about piping. First, what is piping engineering? Piping engineering is a specialized discipline of mechanical engineering which covers the design of piping and layout of equipment and process units in chemical, petrochemical, or hydrocarbon facilities. Piping engineers are responsible for the layout of overall plant facilities, the location of equipment, and the process units in the plant and design of the connected piping as per the applicable codes and standards to ensure safe operations of facilities for the design life. Ah, acknowledge ko lang lahat ng naka-include sa presentation na to, nagbase ako sa PSME code. Sir?
Okay, very good.
The scope. This chapter provides general and specific requirements not only for plant or building piping, but also for general piping installation. It includes power piping system design and pipe color coding for safety and proper fluid identification of the system. Sa PSME code, meron tayong general requirements. Una, ay, wait lang, sir. A shut-off valve shall be installed to every branch from headers. Next is all piping shall be reasonably clean before installation para maiwasan ang contamination and corrosion. Next is all piping shall be free from burrs or protruding metals inside. Next is no piping carrying steam or hot liquids shall be embedded in the concrete walls or floors. Where piping has to be located in the trenches, the pipe shall be supported with steel benches on the floor. All piping on racks shall have sufficient spacing for pipes or chain wrenches so that any single line can be altered without disturbing the rest of the piping on the rack. All piping 63.5 mm and above shall be plunged while smaller size can be screwed. On long headers, a pair of flanges shall be provided for every 3 lengths of 6,000 mm of pipes and 63.5 mm and above. Lahat ng flanges, i-mention natin yan mamaya. On long headers, a pair of unions shall be provided for every 3 lengths of 6,000 mm of pipes smaller than 63.5 mm. Yun yung mga sukat na kailangan. Next is, all piping subject to varying temperature shall be provided with expansion joints or expansion loops to take care of expansion. Kung hindi tayo maglalagay ng expansion loops, tataas ang magbi-build up yung pressure doon sa pipes. Next is no galvanized piping shall be used for steam. Next, no piping material shall be used which is easily corroded by material passing through. All piping shall be clamped by U-bolts or clamped to supporting racks except steam piping. Piping supports shall be placed on a 3,000 mm intervals or less. All steam piping should be supported on rollers or sliding support for expansion. All piping carrying pressure should be sufficient bursting strength for the pressure applied. A minimum factor of safety for working pressure shall be used. Next is a minimum factor of safety of 4 for where working pressure applied shall be used. Kailangan natin nun para maiwasan yung mga aksidente. Next is for conveying liquid subject to water hammer. Additional safety factor of a minimum of 100% of working pressure shall be used. A shut-off valve shall be installed to every branch from headers. All piping should be reasonably clean before installation. Ay, naulit pala to. Pala yung isa. No rubber or rubberized gasket shall be used for steam or hot liquids. Next is, last 3 is where piping carrying steam or hot liquids shall pass walls of concrete suitable slips made of pipes, one size bigger shall be embedded in concrete before piping is laid. Yung mga piping slips, pag-uusapan din natin yan, more info mamaya. Next is piping to all equipment shall not impose any stress on equipment being connected. Next is pipe carrying liquids with solids shall use long radius elbows or tees with plugs in the direction of flow para maiwasan yung pagbabaha. Now, sa PSME code, makikita natin yung identification of color pipes. Ito, yan, may-type ko siya para mas malinaw. For water, we will use a pipe in color green. Steam, silver gray. For oil, mineral, vegetable, or animal. Flammable or combustible is brown. Gases, either liquid or gaseous form, is yellow or and acid and alkalis is violet. Now, about fluid velocities. In practice, the average fluid velocities may be as follows. For water, 1.5 to 3 meters per second ang velocity ng water. High pressure saturated steam is 25 to 50 meters per second, and the high pressure superheated steam will be 50 to 77 meters per second. The atmospheric exhaust steam to 40 to 60 meters per second, and the low pressure exhaust steam to 100 to 120 meters per second. Now we'll talk about pipes. For pressure about 4,137 kilopascal, the pipe shall be first, seamless steel meeting ASTM specifications A106, A-312, A-335, or A-376, or portion board steel meeting A369, or automatic welded steel meeting A312, and the electric fusion welded steel pipe meeting with ASTM specification of A155. For lower pressure, the ranges is 1,724 kilopascal to 4,157 kilopascal. Pipe shall be electric fusion welded steam of ASTM specification A-134 or A-139. Electric resistant welded steel pipe of ASTM specification A-135. Purge or board steel meeting A380 or automatic welded steel meeting A-312. And finally, the electric fusion welded steel pipe meeting with ASTM specification A-155. Ay, yung kanina, ito naman yung other types of fluids. First is air, light blue. Other fluids including drainage pipe, drainage particular surface black, firefighting materials, including detection and suppression system is safety. And service services with other identification of contents is safety yellow. For electricity, like orange, communication, and white. So tayo sa fluid flow velocities. Next is the refrigerator piping system. Minimum design pressure for refrigerant pipe A. Piping system for brine shall be designed for the maximum pressure which can impose on the system with normal operation, but not less than 689.5 kilopascal, including for cast iron pipe. Next is for working temperature below 18 degrees Celsius. An allowance of preparedness of casting, forging, bolting, and pipe shall be made as follows. Piping pressure relieving devices is the most important design factor about pressure relieving devices is the underlying principle of intrinsic safety. They must have a fail-safe or not. Pressure drop. A. The pressure drop due to friction should not exceed percent the accumulated relieving pressure. B. The pressure drop due to velocity head loss should not exceed 2% the accumulated relieving pressure. For reaction forces, the total stress imposed on safety valve or its piping is caused by the sum of these forces. First, the internal pressure Second stage, when piping. Third is the thermal expansion or contraction, either the discharge line of the equipment upon which the valve is mounted, and finally, the compressor piping. Piping in a compressor circuit should connect directly point to point. Bends instead of elbows give less friction loss and less vibration. Angular branch connection will eliminate hard piece and give a smoother flow. Double offsets for directional change should be avoided. Closely integrated intercoolers with the machine minimizes piping. Pulsation dampeners should be located on the cylinders without any interconnecting pipe. Knockout drums should be adjacent to the machine. Several intercoolers or exchanger in the circuit should be stacked as much as possible for direct gas flow, and equipment in the circuit should be in process flow sequence. In the PSME code, the section 7, the industrial gas and air piping systems. Wait lang, wala. Wait. This industrial air and gas power plants, industrial and gas manufacturing plants. A. Piping with metal temperature above 232 degrees Celsius or below negative 2.9 degrees Celsius. Air piping systems operated at pressures of 207 kilopascals or less. C. Piping lines with fire pit or other refractory material used for conveying hot gases. Ito po yung flexibility factor and stress intensification factor. First, the welding elbow. Ito po yung given na flexibility factor. Mamaya ipro-provide ko sa inyo to. Meron kayong reference. Next is the wall thickness of pipe. The minimum thickness of pipe wall required shall be determined by the following formula for the designated pressure and for temperature not exceeding 232 degrees Celsius. Ito yung formula. PD over 2S plus 0.8 C, where P is the maximum allowable operating pressure in kPa, while S is the maximum allowable hoop stress in kPa. For steel or wrought iron pipe, except butt welded, manufactured under specification not listed in table 11.7.2, ito, the value of S shall be 0.6 K for a service temperature of 38 degrees Celsius or less than 0.52 K for a service temperature of 232 degrees Celsius, where K is the stipulated minimum effective yield strength calculated in the manner described in section 11.7.3. PM means the minimum pipe wall thickness in. Next is type of pipe. Threaded steel, wrought iron, value of C in inches is the depth of thread, or 1.7 millimeter, whichever is larger in millimeter. Next. This is the alternatively the effective yield strength may be determined by internal hydrostatic pressure tests and finish lengths of pipe or on cylindrical samples cut from the result of such tests in accordance with the following formula. K is equal to PYT over 2T, which is K is the effective yield strength in kPa. Py is the pressure at the yield strength of the pipe in kPa. T is the stipulated nominal pipe wall thickness in millimeter. Finally, D, so stipulated outside diameter pipe in it. Now go to boltings. The following standards shall apply to bolting. Bolting na tayo 1 is for steam service pressure in excess of 1,724 kilopascal or for steam or water service temperature exceeded 232 degrees Celsius, the bolting material shall conform to ASTM specification A-193 for temperature exceeding 400 degrees Celsius. Only bolt studs are recommended. When cast iron flanges are used, bolting material should be of carbon conforming to ASTM specification A-307, grade B, or A107, or grade 1120. Next is following standards shall apply to bolting. Flange bolts or bolt studs shall be dimensioned and material specified for the purpose of the corresponding American flange standards. Bolts or bolt studs shall extend completely to the nuts, and if desired, they have reduced shank of a diameter not less than the diameter of the root threads. C. Nuts shall conform to ASTM specification of A194. As I mentioned earlier, we will talk about flanges. It's a feature of flange. Requirements for flanges. Flanges shall conform to the American standard B16.5 for respective pressure and temperature or to the specification set by the manufacturer. Next is the 172 kilopascal class 862 kilopascal cast iron integral or screwed companion flanges may be used with a full face gasket or with a ring gasket extending to the inner edge of the bolt holes. When using a full face gasket, the bolting may be heat-treated carbon steel ASTM-A26I or alloy steel ASTM A193. When using a ring gasket, the bolting shall be of carbon steel equivalent to ASTM A-307 grade B without heat treatment other than stress relief. Next is when bolting together two class 1724 kilopascal integral or screwed companions cast iron flanges having 1.6 millimeter raised faces, the bolting shall be of carbon steel equivalent of ASTM A-307 grade B without heat treatment other than stress relief. D. And 1034 kilopascal steel flanges may be bolted to cast iron valves, fittings, or other parts having either integral class 862 kilopascal cast iron flanges or screwed class 862 kilopascal companion flanges. When such construction is used, the 1.6 millimeter raised face on steel flange should be removed. When bolting such flanges together using a ring gasket extending to the inner edge of the bolt holes, the bolting shall be of carbon steel equivalent to ASTM A-307 grade B without heat treatment other than stress relief. When bolting such flanges together using full face gaskets, the bolting may be heat-treated carbon steel ASTM A-261 or alloy steel ASTM A-193. Next is the 2069 kilopascal steel flanges may be bolted to cast iron bulbs, fittings, or other parts having either integral class 1724 kilopascal cast iron flanges or screwed class 1724 kilopascal cast iron companion flanges without any changes in the raised faces of either flange. Where such construction is used, the bolting shall be carbon steel equivalent to ASTM A-307 grade B without heat treatment other than the stress relief. Next is the fittings. The minimum mill thickness of all flanges of screwed fittings and the strength of factory-made welding fittings shall not be less than that is specified for the pressure, temperature, and the respective American standards. Here's the picture of fittings. All fittings in nominal sizes above 80 millimeter for pressure above 1,724 kilopascal but not above 2,758 kilopascal. 50 millimeter for pressures above 2,758 kilopascal but not above 4,137 kilopascal, and for 40 millimeter for pressures above 4,137 kilopascals but not above 17,238 kilopascals shall have flange ends of welding ends. Ito yung picture ng flange natin. Ng fittings pala. Next, gaskets. Yan yung picture ng gaskets natin. Ilalagay yan in between ng mga flanges. Gaskets, where required, shall be of material that resists attack by the fluid carried in the pipeline, shall be strong enough to hold the pressure and perform the purpose intended throughout the temperature range encountered. Gaskets shall be as thin as the finish the surface that will permit to reduce possibility of blowing out. Paper, vegetable fiber, rubber, or rubber inserted gaskets shall not be used for a temperature in excess of 121 degrees Celsius dahil matutunaw lang sila. Next, asbestos composition gaskets may be used as permitted in the American standard for steel pipe flanges and flange fittings. This type of gasket shall not be used on lines carrying oil or other. Yes, this is yung picture ng hangers, supports, anchors. Sila yung nagsusupport sa placement ng ating mga pipe. Unang picture ito. And next picture ito. And the final picture, nakikita natin marami ganyan sa UE. Next is piping and equipment shall be supported in thoroughly substantial and workmanlike manner, rigid enough to prevent excessive vibrations and anchored sufficiently to prevent undue strains on boilers and the equipment served. Hangers, supports, and anchors should be made of durable materials. In tunnels and buildings of permanent fireproof construction, piping may be supported on or hung from wood structures or piping used for conveying fluids at temperature above 121 degrees Celsius is spaced or insulated from such wooden members to prevent dangerous heating. Kasi combustible yun. Next is hangers and supports shall permit free expansions and contractions of piping between anchors. All piping shall be carried on adjustable hangers, properly leveled supports, and suitable springs, sway bracing, vibration dampeners, etc. shall be provided where necessary. Next is pipe sleeves. Pipe sleeves ang kailangan para sa effective heat transfer. Next, where steam pipe pass through walls, partition, floors, beams, etc. constructed of combustible material, protecting metal sleeves or T-balls shall be provided to give a clearance of not less than 6.35 millimeters. Under hot and cold conditions, all around the pipe or pipe and covering, while steam pipes pass through metal partitions, etc. Clearance of at least 6.35 mm under hot and cold conditions shall be left all around the pipe or pipe covering. In any case, if the fluid temperature exceeds 121 degrees Celsius, the pipe shall be insulated inside the sleeve with covering of at least standard thickness para mabawasan yung power loss, heat loss. Pipe slips, walls, floors, partitions, beams, etc. shall not be cast solidly to or build up around and in contact with a steam, hot water, or hot oil pipe, where such pipes must be installed in a concrete floor or other building member shall be protected for the entire bird length with a suitable protecting pipe sleeves or of steel, cast iron, wrought iron, or tile. Exception may be taken for the preceding rules for pipes pass through walls, floors, partitions, etc. that must be kept watertight. Yun na po yung huli kong slides. May mga tanong ba tayo?